In case you hadn't noticed, we're in the process of an electrical revolution. If manufacturers aren't launching brand new models, they're installing EV powertrains into existing ones. Vauxhall is one of those in favour of retrofitting, and while completely new cars are undoubtedly on the way, the Stellantis-owned British brand has been using tried and tested toolkits for some time now. First came the Corsa, quickly followed by the Mocha. Vauxhall even sells a couple of electric van-based people carriers. Each is available with both petrol and electric powertrains, and each uses very similar technology under the skin. We'll come back to the Corsa in a moment, but for now, there's a new kid on the block.
And just like those two cars that we just mentioned, this one has a very familiar name. This is the Astra Electric. It was only a matter of time, wasn't it, before Vauxhall lifted out the engine and stuck in a battery and electric motor, and this is the result. It actually means that the Crossland, if you remember that, is the only Vauxhall not available with a plug. That's pretty good going. But in terms of like visual differences and bits and bobs like that, you get some different wheels, there's no exhaust pipe at the back, and there's some electric badging as well, but pretty much business as usual. So you get this visor front end, you get this distinct daytime running light signature. Like the petrol and diesel versions, you also get GS and Ultimate trims, there's a two-tone roof, but just a really smart looking thing.
But listen, while what it looks like is all well and good, and to our eyes the Astra is a really cool car, it's what's underneath that matters most when it comes to EVs. How far can it go? How quickly can it charge? That kind of stuff. Well, the good news is that just like the latest raft of Stellantis products, the Astra gets the company's newest tech. So a 54 kWh battery and a 154 brake horsepower front-mounted motor for a 258 mile official range. That compares pretty well to a similarly spec'd Volkswagen ID3 or Cupra Born, but falls a little shy of the bargain long-range MG4. And it's the same story when it comes to charging, though in reality it probably sounds worse than it is. The Astra's 100 kW maximum charge speed still allows for a 20 to 80% top-up in 26 minutes.
In here it's pretty much exactly the same as the standard Astra. You've got lots of storage spaces, you've got a big bin under there, some cup holders and another cubby. The screens, they're pretty much exactly the same, replicated in this kind of visor format that mirrors the design on the front. There are a few EV specific menus in here. You've got things like charging and EV stats. You've also got an energy flow meter and charge status in the digital dials as well. You've got physical climate controls, again exactly the same as you get in the standard car. Those are fantastic and we love how those work. These seats, they are AGR approved, which apparently is Germany's campaign for healthier backs, and while I can't really comment on that specifically, I've done hundreds of miles in a petrol Astra and they are as comfy as any car in this class, and especially so with this Ultimate trims Alcantara. Feels quite plush in fact. Now again, one thing I can't comment on is how quiet this car is on the move, but Vauxhall has added acoustic glass to the side windows, and it's also added different seals to the doors and the boot, so that should, in theory, do a good job of filtering out some unwanted noises, because ultimately if you've got an electric car and you've not got the drone of the engine, things like suspension and wheel noise can make itself known in a way that it wouldn't in a normal petrol or diesel car.
Elsewhere, it's pretty much business as usual. Deliveries will start in the summer with prices from exactly £40,000. That makes the Astra look quite expensive, though admittedly the basic kit list is strong. That said, a Cupra Born with 18-inch wheels, twin screens and a long list of standard fit safety aids, just like the Astra, plus a more powerful motor, similar range and faster charging, starts from over £3,000 less. An Astra Ultimate, a smidge over 43 grand.
In many ways, the Astra Electric is exactly what we were expecting. It's a Vauxhall the electric way. It's got decent specs, whether you're thinking about range and charging or interior space and standard kit. But I guess that is just the Vauxhall way. That's the Vauxhall philosophy. And actually, along those lines, if you come with me next door, I've got something to show you. Look, it's the new Corsa with the Astra's face. Truth be told, the Corsa always looked a little bit out of place in the Vauxhall range, didn't it? The Mocha launched so soon after the original version of this Corsa came out, and it had that visor front end. And then one by one, every model in the range got the updated nose. So from the summer, the Corsa gets it too, and wow, doesn't it look all the better because of it? So in addition to that new front end, you've got this graphic grey paint colour, that's new. You've got new lights, they're full matrix LED on the top spec models. 17-inch gloss black alloy wheels, those are from the anniversary edition that's been out recently. All the chrome trim around the window, that's disappeared in favour of black. You've got a shark fin antenna on the roof, and around the back, central lettering across the boot lid.
Not just a fresh face, the Corsa gets the uprated motor tech from the Astra, so with 154 brake horsepower, we expect the Super Mini to be quite the little pocket rocket. Performance figures haven't been confirmed, but a ballpark of around 7.5 to 8 seconds to 62 miles an hour sounds about right. The Corsa uses a slightly smaller 51 kWh battery, but with its lower weight and more compact footprint, it means it very nearly matches the Astra with a 255 mile official range. With the same 100 kW peak charging speed, it'll charge to 80% in around half an hour.
Small upgrades all round, that's the name of the game with this new Corsa, and it's more of the same inside. You get this 10-inch screen, which like the Astra is running new software, and it's pretty good. You also get separate climate controls down here, which uses rotary controllers, and in this day and age, that's just all really lovely. You get wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, 3D connected nav, voice recognition, loads of stuff in there, over-the-air updates. It's all really high tech, which you just don't necessarily expect from a Corsa. If you told me 20 years ago, when my mates were learning to drive in Corsas, that something would feel this plush and this high tech inside, I simply wouldn't have believed you. But then I guess this one costs pretty much 4 times the price of what they did back then, so you kind of have to take that with a pinch of salt. Either way though, the incremental improvements over the previous Corsa Electric are welcome, both up here and under the metal. And this remains quite a practical small EV. Every version gets 5 doors, which you don't get in a Fiat 500e or a Mini Electric, but there is no avoiding the fact that, well, a Mokka won't cost you an awful lot more, and that MG4 that we mentioned earlier when we were talking about the Astra still costs thousands less.
Order books are going to open shortly, with first deliveries penciled in for the back end of this year. While, as mentioned, we need to wait a little bit longer for prices and exact specs for the proposed GS and Ultimate trims, looking at prices of the outgoing car, you're not likely to get much change from £32,000 or £33,000. Not an insignificant amount of money, though of course you'll save thousands as a company car driver.
There you have it then, 2 new Vauxhall EVs that, well, don't exactly change the game, but because they have fast charging, a decent range, and there's not much compromise to be made when it comes to space and practicality, they just have this ability to slot into your daily life, especially if you've had an Astra or a Corsa before. Indeed, if you haven't upgraded for a few years, the leap in quality and technology is quite something.
Head to DrivingElectric.com for all the latest electric and hybrid car advice, news and reviews, and check us out on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. Finally, while you're here, make sure you hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel and turn on notifications to ensure you never miss a video.